I continue to work on this poor baby. Just removed the old rotor. I'm pretty sure it's original rotor from the day the car was built. It's got the significant lift on both surfaces. I was surprised that it came off fairly effortlessly. The brake pads, by the way, the brake pads were Brembo brand. Most likely it's a second set of the brake pads for this car. I don't think the original set would have made it until 58,000 miles, but I just got the package from our lovely FCP Euro with couple goodies. I went with Zimmerman two Zimmerman rotors and I guess a Texter brake pads. Yeah. New sensors for the pads, new set screws for the rotor that goes into those little holes. What is that? I already forgot what I ordered. Okay, I remember. This was the actuator for the gas cap, because mine does not lock, and I got the warning when I, not a warning, but the code. What else? What do I have here? Okay, this is the light for my okay, this is for Mercedes. Texter pads. Okay, that's pretty much it. And anti-seize grease. Okay, two sets of wires. Good, so that's what we have. I'm gonna install it off camera. There is nothing crazy. I'm gonna use some anti-seize grease, so next time or next person gonna be replacing the rotors won't have hard time getting them off. The new rotor is in. I am preparing the pads for the installation. I usually use this stuff. At least for me, I had a good experience with this. It prevents the squeaks when you brake. And how you apply the stuff, it's kind of liquid. You apply it with the all metal surfaces. Let's say in my case, I apply it where the pistons are touching the brake pads. I need to wait for the few minutes for this thing to become rubbery, and later on it's gonna just simply prevent this squeaking or squealing, whatever the right word is, of the brake. I applied the anti-seize kind of grease onto the hub. So it was the blink of an eye for you and for me about an hour. I replaced those both front brake rotors and pads. Right now I am changing the fluid for the brake system. I'm using this Motif products thing. It's kind of one-man job technically, so I siphoned out as much as I could the old fluid from the fluid tank. I put brand new fluid into this container and I pumped it up to about 10 psi. And what I'm gonna do now, technically, when I will open this bleed valve, it's theoretically supposed to start bleeding procedure. We'll see if it's gonna do anything or not. Okay, the liquid is coming from this hose, so I suppose something is happening. The old liquid was kind of greenish yellowish type. The new one is more like a orange stuff, and yeah, I can see it's going through the hose. So I guess technically this makes this procedure a little easier. I couldn't get all the liquid from the tank, the old liquid from the tank, because it has the screen which kind of minimizes debris getting in, and I got the hard time removing the screen to get to the bottom of the tank. So there is still a lot of the original old fluid, but looks like everything is fine. Let me check how the pressure is doing here. If anything, nothing is happening here, yeah? Or something is happening though. I am at I guess 11 or 12 psi right now, and I see it looks like something is happening, but it's hard to tell. I mean, it's coming from this end at least. Well, it's still kind of on the greenish yellowish side than the orange, and the level is rising here. So yeah, it's definitely going. Let's see if opening it a little further makes any difference or not. That's some nasty stuff is going out from the system right now. Alright, that's the right front wheel, so it's next to the last one. And let's see what's coming from here. This one should be fairly quick because it's pretty close to the reservoir or tank. So it's already clearing out. I am pretty much done. I am using this white paper as the reference just to see how green fluid changes to yellowish orange. So otherwise it's hard to see, but right now I see it's nearly orange, and this is how much of the old fluid we got from there, and it's you see it's just nasty. So I'm glad I did this, and I can confirm right now that using this Motif brake bleeder or whatever you want to call it, it's actually helpful. I can do the whole process myself, and it's fairly quick. No need to push the pedal. It just pushes the liquid through the whole system, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I am pretty happy about the result. It looks like I need to order the new rear rotors and pads as well, unfortunately. But at least I'm gonna know it's done, and I won't need to worry about it later on. Having in mind that I still need to replace the rear rotors and pads, I'm getting to the next step, which is replacement and flushing of the coolant system. And it's a little bit trickier than on other cars. There is no like a drain plug by the radiator, like most of the cars does have. It is pretty much the disconnection or disconnecting of the few of the hoses to let the coolant drain, like those two hoses that goes to the front radiators. It's a pretty messy process as far as I can tell. So I'm trying to get this plastic being as high as possible to the hoses. I'm probably gonna start with the how it goes, a heater core, and we'll see how it goes. And we'll see how it's probably totally stuck, so I'm gonna use some pliers carefully, just trying to free up the hose. This is the pliers I'm using. I put some tape around the lips because the teeth are pretty sharp. I don't want to damage the hose, and I'll try to kind of wiggle it back and forth. Maybe it's gonna help to kind of make it go. And ooh, shooting the, yeah, that's pretty messy process, as I was telling. And let's see if it goes now. Yeah, it's been freed up. The coolant is green. The Porsche coolant should be kind of orange, if I'm not mistaken, or pink. Alright, there we go. I'm not sure how much coolant can this pump, not the pump, but the pen hold. Okay, it's burping, introducing some air in the system, so I'm gonna let it sit for a bit, and I'm gonna continue to disconnect the hoses. It's gonna be this radiator hose and the one from the other side. What I wanted to tell you, so it's nearly done, dripping from this hose, but when I'm trying to massage the radiator hose, it's kind of getting this, like, making this pumping effect. And yes, it goes. As soon as I stop pumping it, it stops. Alright, I'm gonna disconnect the other hoses and drain what's left. Also, I'm gonna, what I didn't do earlier, I didn't open the cap in the coolant tank, and I guess when I'm gonna open it, it's gonna make the things little faster. The lower pipe, or oh, something is coming though. Whoa, 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 whoa. Alright. Here's the interesting one. So this is the pan. I flushed the old coolant from the vehicle, and you can see it's very greenish in here, and I transferred the thing from the pan in those jugs. Can someone explain how does it work? Why it shows green in here? It's exactly same substance in those jugs. Is it kind of supposed to be green, but there is a lot of rust in it? Or how does it work? How does it change color? I mean, literally, there is nothing that reminds of green color when it's in this jug. So this is the, perfectly white jug. There is no, color on the walls of this plastic, but for some reason the liquid is orange, or I would say orange or rusted color in here. And perfectly green in there. Something crazy. So the next step I'm gonna use, I'll show you. Okay, this is the system. This is my shop compressed air. I mean, there is like little compressor right there in the corner, and I got it like 200 psi. This kit specifies that minimum shop air required is 90 psi. I am not sure what is the maximum. My compressor is capable of 200 psi's or 250, I don't recall. But I put on 100 psi, so I guess we should be good. There is the valve right here. Not really sure what does it do, but the theory is when I'm gonna put the air in here, it's gonna be passing through this hole, pretty much going into the empty jug, and because there is the Venturi effect, it's gonna suck the air from the system along with this, along with the shop air going there, and that's what's gonna vacuum the system. At least this is how I think the process gonna be going. And this is the gauge that's gonna show us the kind of vacuum. So pretty much the pointer should go into this green line, and we'll see what's gonna happen next. Okay, let's see. Again, I'm not sure what this valve kind of does. Should I need to hold it? So yeah, looks like I need to hold this valve for the air to come through, and you can monitor the gauge. I'm gonna let the compressor refill because it's pretty small. I guess it's a 5-gallon compressor or so, and I'm gonna continue then. Theoretically, if the cooling system is okay, it should be remained like in a vacuum state. If the pointer goes back to red zone, it means there is some kind of leak in the system. So let's continue. All right. It doesn't go actually lower than about 22 for some reason. I don't know why. And I see like there is the gauge little damaged. There is the plastic inside the gauge. I'm not sure if you can see it. I don't think that's the part of the problem though. It's reached its kind of vacuum state. Let me make a little more pressure in here. So right now we're at 100. Let's do like 115, if it's gonna change anything. it does not pull any more vacuum from there. I'm gonna check the instructions and we'll see what's gonna do next. You can also see how the hoses are collapsed because of the vacuum in the system, or kinda vacuum in the system. Technically, based on the instructions, it's supposed to reach 25 and we are right now at about 22. So I'm not sure if it's critical or not. It's written continue to depress valve button until the system reaches 2426 of Hg on the gauge. So I'm not sure, it doesn't pull any more than that. So let's depress the button once again. I'm not sure. Let's try to fill the system with the fresh distilled water. I got the whole bucket of the water. I'm gonna put it in here and we'll see how it's gonna suck it into the system. At least I guess this is the plan. I just attached the hose for the coolant and submerged it. Let me try to submerge it till the very bottom. Okay, I'm gonna need to so I need to slowly open this and then to release the air, I guess, but okay, slowly open the valve and it's started to suck the water out from this bucket. You can see how the level is dropping pretty quickly. I don't know, looks like it's working. I'm gonna need to make sure this is pretty deep. The pressure or the vacuum is dropping. And obviously this plastic that hangs inside the gauge doesn't help. So we're more than half done. This is it, I guess. Looks like it doesn't suck anymore. And yeah, I see the water level just dropped here. Let me remove the gauge, take a peek inside the tank, and we'll see. I am not really sure how it works, but the level is exactly at max. It's fairly hard to see from here, but if I look here and shake the tank a little bit, I can see the water is right where the white plastic meets the black plastic, which is the max. I'm gonna start the car right now. I'm gonna let it sit running for 15-20 minutes, so the thermostat would open, and let the water flush the system, and then we're gonna drain it and repeat the same procedure, but with the coolant in the bucket instead of water. One small update: there is the purge valve right here, when I opened it, the level of water dropped to the minimum. I put exactly 1 liter, 1 liter more, and the water right now is again on the top. I'm gonna start the car and let it run for a bit. Well, looks like I have a little change of plans. It seems like the Immo module took a dump. So the car doesn't start anymore. The car does not recognize the key, and when something like that happens, it turns on the alarm. So it took me a couple minutes to find, you know, the 10 mil socket to remove the negative terminal from the battery. Otherwise my neighbors probably would be pissed off with this thing screaming for the whole neighborhood. So yeah, I'm gonna need to figure out first how to start it again before I can, you know, flush the system. Just found the problem, and there is a tiny spot. Probably you cannot make it on camera, but it's crisp, and it smells crisp as well. So yeah, this needs to be replaced. I was expecting something like that, you know, down the line. Just didn't expect for it to, you know, to be so quick. It's good I'm not driving anywhere, and it happened in my garage. So that's that. So the coolant flush is a little bit postponed until the moment I will be able to start the car again. For the shits and giggles, I just you know, questionably restored the damaged area here. I replaced a couple components with the, you know, more or less similar components I could find, since obviously I don't have the exact same stuff, but I'm gonna try to connect it back and just see if it's possible to start it again, or it's gonna blow again. I don't know, but I guess it's worth a try anyway, since I need to replace this freaking coolant. So let's see. What I can say, it is much more convenient to work when the seat is out from the car. So let's hopefully it won't get on fire. All right, 1, 2. Yeah, it's obviously not happy because it's flashing with the hazards, and right now is actually the siren should kind of should go off, pissing the neighbors. So when something like that is happening, it does not see the immobilizer module. So yeah, this shade repair I done did not help at all. Nothing left to do than to wait for me to find another immobilizer module. So that's my original immobilizer module. I tried to restore the schematics, replaced few components, but it didn't work out. Most likely there is the problem with the power supply in this area. Maybe some, you know, regulators burnt. I don't have the schematics, so this is done. And finally, this is the second try. I received the package with you know, hopefully good working module. Let's try to open it. Hopefully it's not flooded same way as, remember, the first module I purchased, which was, you know, totally damaged, even worse than my original module. The good news, the The part number is exactly the same as mine, 996-618-26007. And what I would like to do is to open it. First of all, to make sure it's not flooded. And secondly, because we need to program it, since the car won't start if we simply plug it and play, or plug it and try to play. So, okay, looks like we got some good news. It's not flooded. And what I can see right away, we are not the first ones who are trying to program into the car, because I see the solder marks right where the memory is, and the memory chip is scratched. It doesn't mean it won't work, but the soldering job is pretty crappy, so I'm gonna reflow this chip. Let me see what okay, let me see what kind of chip is there. If it's original one, hard to read, it's very glossy. Let me try to clean it. Very curious about this one. Okay, it's 93LC66, which is the same thing as my original. Yeah, the soldering work is kind of crappy. But let's try to read it. And I'm gonna read it, first of all, to have a copy of the information this module came with, in case there is any other problems, so I can program it back and return to the seller in the exactly same state it was sent to me. Because of this previous soldering, okay, hopefully it's gonna make some contact. Let's try to read it. Okay, it read the chip. Let me save this copy. Since my network drive is not accessible, I don't have access to my own copy of the EEPROM, but I can actually read the EEPROM from my original module. Let's do that. Since I have it here. Okay. And now I can write it to this module. Okay. Read properly. I want to reflow those this crappy soldering job because it's really crappy. Just very carefully. And let's clean the flux. Now we can put this module back together. By the way, it's interesting to see the manufacturing date of that module. It's not written on the plastic, unfortunately. Also, the replacement module came without this little locking nut, so I'm gonna reuse the one from my old module. Let me just see how to remove it from there. Ooh. And this goes here somehow. Okay, now I'll be able to lock it in place once installed. All right, let's transition to garage and we'll see if it's gonna work. It's been a week or more since I put some water in a coolant system and still didn't flush it. And while I was waiting for the replacement module to come, I turned the rotors or resurfaced them because I didn't feel like spend $200 for the set of rotors and pads and all right, now it's the trickiest part because it's very inconvenient to connect the module when the seat is in there. So give me a couple minutes, I'll try to stretch the wiring and get it connected. I removed the cover from the module because it has this giant lip which actually prevented me to connect the connectors because of so freaking tight space, but at least it's connected now. Let's unplug the maintainer. Let's plug this, and the car is not happy again. Oh my god. That's bad news. I'm not sure what she doesn't like now because it has its own EEPROM. I don't know. Maybe she needed I don't know. Let's try to depress the pedal. Yoo-hoo! Finally, it runs again. Oh, I would say that's a relief. And now we need to check out the coolant level, because technically it needs to suck it a bit, and right now it's falling down. Phew. That's the smell of the exhaust from the cold star. Is ridiculous. Phew. But let's add some water. Okay, where are we at right now? Almost at max. Let it warm up, so the thermostat gonna open, and off camera I'm gonna remove the seat, put the module back, because obviously it works. Oh, so, and I'm gonna monitor the water level. So we'll go from there. If I'll have any interesting news, I'm gonna turn on the camera again. It's already blowing the warm air out from the, from the vents. And I just got a thought, since after I installed this replacement module it was flashing with the lights like it kind of doesn't see the module. I'm thinking maybe my old module actually is fixed, because when I repaired it, or attempted to repair it, and I installed it, it was flashing the same way, like ding 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 ding. And I thought that's because it does not see the module. And I thought I didn't repair it. I didn't even try to crank it or put the keys in. I'm gonna let the car warm up more, so it, so the coolant circulate in the whole system, and you can see the temperature is starting to climb. It's blowing the hot air right now from the vents, so I know it's circulating. I did not hear the vents yet in the front, so the thermostat is not open yet, I think, because it's kind of quiet in here. So I'm gonna let it sit for some more time, and that's it. I went home for the few moments, and when I came back I figure out the drain is working properly because I didn't put the cap in its place, and so the coolant expanded or whatever and overflown the tank, but that's good. The temperature in the air vents is like freaking hot right now. It's like the desert inside. So but I still did not hear the fans in the front. I don't know, I probably need to wait a little more. It's been like probably maybe 15 minutes since I started it. So far no fans, so I guess I'm waiting. I'm waiting some more time. Oh yeah, there we go. Fans turned on. That means the thermostat just opened, and I'm gonna let it circulate like maybe for a few minutes. I'm gonna shut it off and let it cool down a bit, because I don't want to, boiling water pretty much pouring on over me. So this is it. I just drained the coolant kind of again, and I'm ready to prepare the mixture, you know, with the new coolant. And based on the manual, it says it contains 17 liters of coolant, or 4.5 US gallons. And I do have Pentafrost SF concentrate. Each of those bottles has 1.5 liters of coolant, which means each bottle can produce 3 liters of, you know, ready to go coolant, and we have 17 liters there. Okay, I put 9 liters of concentrate and 2 gallons of distilled water, and now we're gonna put that thing in there, and we're gonna crack this valve open carefully, and it's slowly need to suck carefully. Okay, and now it started to suck the coolant. I'm gonna make sure this is all the way down there. This coolant is, you know, pink color, and like last time, this process is happening pretty fast. I like this system very much, and you can see there is something happening in the tank right there. We're probably down to the last gallon or so. It's very interesting how much it's gonna take. Let me tilt it so it grab everything from the bucket, and if it's not gonna be enough, I'm simply gonna add it to the tank. The vacuum is almost not there anymore. It's coming to 0, and I can see it's pretty much stopped. I don't see any movement. Alright, I would say it a wrap for now. I'm gonna start the engine so it circulate, and most likely it will need few more drops of the coolant in there. Okay, right now it's on the edge between black plastic and white plastic, so it's pretty much on the max, and I'm gonna start the car. Hopefully it still starts. Where's the keys? Okay, there's the key right there. Neutral. By the way, I put a new button here. I'm not sure if I showed you. Brand new leather. Okay, it's sucking the liquid in, probably half an inch lower right now, so I'm gonna add some more and wait for the car to go through the heat cycle. So I took it through the heat cycle, put everything back together, put this shield in place. Before that I made sure there is no drips of coolant coming from the pipes, and I guess now it's time for a little test drive. Alright, temperature is almost in the center. Let's give it a try. And like always, on this model year of Boxster, every time you start the car, you'll see the light for the rear spoiler until you pick up like few miles an hour in terms of the speed. Let me close the kind of glove box with the registration. Not very convenient to drive one-handed, especially with the stick shift, but eventually I think we can make it happen. And not to forget, new brakes. So we're gonna take it slow. And you see the light for the spoiler is off. There you go. The first little test drive is a success. As they say, what not to love about it? Okay. It's just dirt. New rotors, new pads, brand new. So I estimate the rear pads have about 50 or 60% of its life, and the resurfaced rotors will be perfect to finish those pads before I go with the new set. I guess this is gonna wrap the series about this Porsche. I don't have much more to do about it. Got new battery, new brakes, new resurfaced rear rotors. It's got new coolant. It's got new brake fluid. The tires are perfect. I mean, except the age. The tires are perfect, not dry rotted. Perfect tread. 832s, 6.5 32s, 5 3/4 32s, 8.5 32s. Plenty of life left. Let's make sure the keys is working. Yep. And interesting to check if the fuel door is working. Yep. So I replaced this solenoid for nothing. The whole problem was in the Immobilizer module, which is also responsible for the fuel tank door. So that's that. All right. So it's done. I'm gonna enjoy it for a while. Hopefully the IMS bearing won't total it again, since it was a salvage title car. If you did enjoy this type of content, just make sure to like this video, hit subscribe button, and I'm pretty sure we'll got some more builds coming in the near future. Take care, guys.